here. But what's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85, here with Miss Boomstick as always. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Giving. So I needed. Well, that's what I should have watched. Thanksgiving with the killer turkey. I forgot to watch that. And then they have Thanksgiving 3. Which is weird because there is no sequel. The second one, they just go.
Yeah, well, they talk about the second one in the third one. It's like the whole plot of the third one is the second one didn't get released and then was on the search for it.
Yeah, I mean they did explain
the plot, but it's a good part of it.
Yeah, they did explain it sort of, but it's funny how they did that. They're just like, yeah, it's the sequel to it. So. But yeah, so it's been good. I was, as you know, I was just chilling at my uncle's house watching the cat. It's like 20 or something like that. He's got no teeth, so I had to mash up his food and everything. He was a cool cat. He'd sitting either on the armchair or insisted on sitting on my lap. One point when I was on a fire stick, he comes up. He was there for a little bit. I'm like, okay, get off. And I lifted him up, put him back on his bed. Like 10 seconds, he comes back over and jumps back up on me. I'm like, really?
Sounds like my mom's cat. He's super needy like that. He's always up on her chest. And usually he doesn't come to me, but he was laying where I normally sit when we come down. And because I'm at my mom's right now, for people who don't know. And I petted him a bunch of times, and now he's been super needy. If mom's not having him on her lap, he comes running to me.
Right. So, all right. It looks like our guest, Juan Riedinger, has joined us. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome. Good. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we were up in Canada. We're Canadian, so our Thanksgiving is like a month before.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
We're doing a little mini Thanksgiving tonight, actually, a couple days late.
Okay. Yeah, I got some.
We're back in the States now.
Yeah, I got some other Canadian friends. I'm like, it's like before Halloween up there or something. I'm like, yeah, Halloween and Thanksgiving the same month. So
I know. And it's nowhere near as big a deal up there as it is here in terms of just like, I feel like down here in the States, it's almost as big, if not bigger than Christmas. Like people take it seriously. Whereas in Canada, it's just like, it's more casual.
Right. Try to share this link out here. So yeah, I've been sharing the link out. So, whenever someone comes on, I'll go ahead. If they got any questions, I'll put the comments up for you for all of us to read. So cool. I guess we'll start out. When you were growing up, were you in drama in high school or anything? You always interested in acting and horror, or did you have another plan in mind?
No, I had a very different plan. I guess when we didn't really have an acting program in my high school, so it wasn't until I was in university in Calgary in my third year. I was studying biology and English, and I just kind of took an acting class by chance. I thought it'd be like an easy elective to fulfill something different. And that decision kind of changed my whole life because I kind of, after doing that, I just decided to dedicate my career to that and pursue that. And I've kind of been going hard ever since. And so initially I wanted to be a veterinarian or an English teacher. I couldn't quite figure out what I wanted to be, but then kind of actor took over.
Nice. What was your first professional acting role? I saw you did a couple of shorts. I forget what it was called. One was like Stream, I believe it was called.
The Stream, yeah, that was not that long ago. But my first professional gig was actually, I was working in a restaurant at the time, and they were doing a nationwide casting call for a show up in Vancouver called Godivas. It was set in a restaurant, so they wanted to cast somebody who worked in the service industry. And so I just kind of, went in for that one. And that's the one I ended up booking as my first professional gig. And so that was a pretty cool experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
So since you've done television and movies, do you prefer one over the other, or do you enjoy them the same?
I've always had, I love TV, and it's been a great thing to be a part of. And TV these days is the caliber is very high compared to what it used to be. It's just a different format, but I do have a soft spot for film. I really love the process of, I feel like when you walk onto a TV show, it's more of like a well-oiled machine, and versus in film, there's a more experimental kind of quality to it, and every new set that you're on feels kind of very different than the last, and yeah, there's more of an artistry to the whole thing, I find, and so in that way, I find film to be a little bit more exciting, and I've done a lot of short films too. That's kind of been my training as an actor, is because I didn't go to film school, so I basically, as soon as I decided I wanted to be an actor, I probably done over 100 some odd short films and student films and things like that, just to sort of get my feet wet and learn the ropes and make mistakes, and that's how I kind of I train myself to do it professionally.
Nice. The short films, are they available on YouTube or anywhere we can check them out?
I'm sure a lot of them are. Yeah. I mean, the list is quite long, so I don't know. I'm trying to think. What's it? It's tough. You might have to like check out, do a bit of
Google search, and yeah,
figure out what's out there. But I'm sure there's some of them that are out there.
Okay, I just didn't know if you had like a set of them together on a page or YouTube. Or something.
I have a Vimeo channel where the shorts that I've directed myself are on, but I'm not in any of those. So I've directed about a dozen shorts, and I don't act in the projects that I direct. So, but those are available on. I think it's just Vimeo / and then my full name. I believe that's what it is. Okay, you can check some of those out there.
All right.
When did you get introduced into horror movies?
Well, coming up in Vancouver, I find that there's a lot of horror that shot up there, or at least was in the past. And so, yeah, a lot of my earlier credits kind of ended up being in that world. I remember Jennifer's Body was one of the bigger things that I booked back in the day. That was one that really sort of, and I had no idea that it was going to be like the cult classic that it is, and so that was kind of one of the earlier ones that I remember. And I remember after I auditioned for Jennifer's Body, I didn't hear a thing for, I feel like it was over a month, maybe a month and a half. And then I heard that I didn't get the part. And so I was like, oh, that's a bummer, because that would have been a really cool one to book. And then somehow I was out of town, and my agent called me like a week or two later, and he's like, actually, you know what? You're still in the running. I need you in the audition room tomorrow. And I was like, I was like a 10-hour drive away. And it's like, how am I going to do this? I'm like, should I do this? Because it's like, it's still a long shot. It's always a long shot. But I just kind of rolled the dice on that one. And I flew from Banff, Calgary, where I was, back to Vancouver. My agent picked me up at the airport, drove me to North Vancouver to the audition. I went in, did the callback or whatever you call it, and then got back in his car. He drove me back to the airport, and I flew back home to Banff, where my family is. And it was a roller coaster and a big gamble, because you never know, right? But I ended up booking that one, so it was a good choice in the end.
Nice. And that one, you play a musician. Excuse me. Did you know how to play I believe it was a bass. I'm not good with instruments, so I'm not sure. But did you already know how to play that?
I didn't know. I never touched the bass in my life. I played the piano. I grew up playing the piano, so I had a familiarity with music. But I mean, playing the bass is a whole other thing. So they actually put us in band practice with our fictional band. Two of the guys were professional musicians from LA, and then one of the guys was another actor, and then there was Adam Brody, who plays the lead singer in the band. And so yeah, they put us through a good number of rehearsals and band practice, and just to familiarize ourselves with at least being able to fake playing the instruments. But we were riffing by the end. We were having a good time. And yeah, so I had to learn that pretty quickly.
Nice. Do you still play it? No,
I can't say I do. I haven't even touched one since filming. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm trying to think what instruments there, but I've kind of dropped off with the whole music thing after I actually hated piano lessons because it was kind of one of those things my parents forced me to do. So I had Now I still play like my little repertoire of songs, and it's fun to just once in a while get on a piano. But I don't practice by any means. I don't really play a lot of music anymore. I kind of wish I did, but I don't.
So, how was it working with Megan Fox?
Yeah, I mean it was intimidating at first. I mean, she definitely has like an aura about her, like when she's on set, and especially like I was so early in my career and so young, and it was pretty cool, like to be working with her, and yeah, she was lovely, and she's really great in that film too. Like
Yeah.
I feel like she's in some ways really underrated as an actress. I feel like she brought a lot to that role in particular, and Amanda Seyfried as well. She's lovely, and they had a really nice chemistry. And so, yeah, no, I had nothing but good things to say about them.
Go ahead, Bill.
Sorry, my cat was coming to me. I wasn't
You
sure
gotta-
if she was going to attack me or not because she's a little weird.
Well,
So-
I have twin boys, and they stepped out with their mom, but they could be back any minute. So I've got that door behind me locked, but there might be some banging on the door.
Let me in.
I get it.
Hello.
Then
So where are you guys located right now?
I'm in Florida.
Okay.
normally I'm in Wisconsin, but I'm at my family's house, so I'm in Illinois right now.
Illinois. Okay. Cool.
It's like we're as far away as we could be. We're YouTube friends, so yeah.
Right.
Oh,
The
cool.
love of horror that brings everybody in the horror community together. So
Yeah, it's such a great community. Yeah, I mean, I've been just in the films that I've been a part of in the fan base. It's been so supportive, and yeah, no, I love the world of horror. It's great.
have you had a chance to go to any conventions or not yet?
No, not for myself. My wife's an actor too, and I've kind of gone as like with her to support her. But she does more of the sci-fi stuff, I guess. And so I haven't been to like a horror convention. So that'd be interesting to do one day.
Okay.
There's Kitty.
Yeah.
She was loving on me, and it's not very often. She's a little weird. She gets in these moods like she'll want loving, and then she'll start attacking it. So I get the lovings when we can. We had to leave her at my mom's, so I don't only get to see her when we come visit.
She's beautiful.
She's really old, so
Oh, okay.
I didn't think she can. We moved 3 hours away, so I didn't think she could handle the car ride.
Oh, wow.
Okay. She's like, I'm done now.
Yeah, she's at least she didn't freak out. Last time I picked her up when she was in here with me, she started screaming like I was murdering her. It does say on your IMDb in the trivia part, which sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not, that you're fluent in 3 languages.
Yeah, my mom's Peruvian, so she spoke Spanish to my sister and I our whole lives. So I'm fluent in Spanish, and I'd say I can hold my own in German, although that was actually my first language. It's a little more challenging than the others, English obviously being the third, but but yeah, I can definitely understand a lot of German, and I think I just need to spend like another month or 2 there, and it'll all come back. I've played like a handful of German roles, so yeah, those are the 3 languages.
And then I guess speaking of the Spanish one, you played a part where you speak only Spanish, and at least Narcos. I'm sure there's more, but I just saw with the Narcos, you played a very interesting character, kind of the comical. Even though it's kind of based on real life, you kind of a comical type. It's not really super comical, but some of your parts were funny.
Right? Yeah. No, I mean he's definitely a character, and it's a real guy, Carlos Later, and it was fun doing some research about him and all of his quirks. I didn't get to meet him, unfortunately, because he was in prison at the time. I believe he got out and he's in witness protection now. But he's a bit of a flamboyant character, so it was fun to sort of dig into that role, and it was terrifying because at that point I had not done a lot of acting in Spanish exclusively. So and I was surrounded by a cast that were a lot of whom were fluent in Spanish. Like, well, I'm fluent in Spanish, but it's just like they're native Spanish speakers.
Right.
So it's always like you feel a little bit like the outsider. But they had a great vocal coach for us, and it didn't take long before I got to sort of feel comfortable slipping into that, and it was fun. It was like definitely like a highlight of my career getting to do that, especially because we were like in Colombia I was there for about 2 months shooting all over the country. We were in the jungle. We were just bouncing around. It was a dream come true. That one. That was another one that I auditioned for, and I'd never heard back for ages. It was like 2 months, and then just sitting in the kitchen one day, and I get a call. It's like, "Hey, you're going to Colombia." I was like, "What?" It was just like one audition I did, and I really didn't think anything was going to come of it. And it's one of the bigger things I ever booked in my career, and it was really kind of a game-changing role for me. So
Seems
I've
like
never seen this show before. Sorry, Steve.
No, go ahead.
I'd never seen the show before, and we started watching it before we came down, and my husband was watching with me, and he usually doesn't watch the stuff I watch, and we was giggling a lot of your parts.
yeah.
Like you said, he was a character.
Yeah. He was fun. He was an out there guy.
So you want to?
I had I don't know if you remember, I had a swastika tattoo. Like he did in real life. And I'm a swimmer. And so when I was in Colombia, I trying to get a swim in whenever I could. And this one particular time I went, and I realized I was in the change room. I changed. I was getting ready to walk out on the pool deck. And then I just glanced in the mirror on the way out, and I realized that the tattoo was still on my arm. And I was like, God damn. It was kind of mortifying. I ran to the bathroom stall with a paper towel and just rubbing as hard as I could, because I really wanted to I was taking buses for it was hard to find a swimming pool where I was at. So it was I got to swim. I'm here. I came all this way, but I was like, I had to get this thing off. And I did a pretty good job, but those things, they stay on there. So unless you have the right chemicals to get them off. So anyways, eventually I did a good enough job where it wasn't shameful to step out in public with it.
Was it Boom? I think, wasn't it Michael Bailey Smith? Didn't he almost get in trouble for his prison costume and tattoos and stuff, or he almost got it? What was that? Remember? Well, he was on here. He was
to that effect. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
Or a cop said something, and he was like, "I'm an actor." Right.
I was like, "Oh." Yeah, we can get away with a lot. You just have to say I'm an actor. It's just trust me. Yeah.
I'm an actor, not a Nazi.
Exactly. Yeah, he was like a Hitler-loving John Lennon. Those were his two obsessions, Hitler and John Lennon, which are so different in so many ways. But yeah, he was a character. I wonder if he's seen the show. I always wonder that, because he's out there somewhere. I think he's in Germany, from what I heard. I think he actually moved to Germany. So I'm assuming he's seen it. It'd be like if somebody played you on a show. How do you not watch that? You know
right? I mean? Yeah.
That would be interesting, watching someone okay.
Yeah.
I approve this acting. Maybe. No, I wouldn't do that. But yeah. Mm-hmm. You also did Supernatural. Did you ever watch it prior to that, or was that something you just auditioned for?
That was a show that shot in Vancouver, and I don't know. I can't remember how many seasons. I think it did 10 or more.
15.
Was it 15? Wow, that many. Yeah. So that brought so much work to Vancouver actors, and I probably auditioned for it 10 times before getting a part on it, which is normally the case on any show up in Vancouver. And I don't know if I'd actually seen it. I feel like I'd auditioned for it a lot, so I was somewhat familiar with the material. My wife again was on that show as well, so maybe I saw her episode, but but it's great show.
Which episode was she on? Just out of curiosity. I mean, I'm a Supernatural fan. I got that.
Oh yeah, you're diehard, aren't you?
Yes.
Hold on, I'll look it up right now. She was on Hell House. Do you know that episode?
Oh, that was funny with the ghost facers.
Is that right? Okay, so she plays a character named Jill in the Hell House.
Was that one of the? Was she one of the ghost facers? I think, or the sister. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it now. I'm trying to remember, but I remember it was the ghost facer episode.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that was great show.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other show I'm really proud of, the other horror film that we shot in Vancouver was it's called Grave Encounters.
Yes,
I was just about ready to bring that.
We were going to bring that up for sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful movie.
Oh, cool. That one. Every once in a while, I'll actually have somebody recognize me from, which is not that common. But that one, it's got some diehard fans, and that was a really cool experience because a good friend of mine, a couple of good friends, kind of co-directed that one, the Vicious Brothers, and I've worked with them since. And we were locked up in Riverview Hospital, which is, if you've seen a horror film that's shot in Vancouver, you've seen the Riverview Hospital. Like that, so many films shoot in that place, and it doubles as a prison, as a hospital, as a you name it. It's probably doubled as everything. And it's a really creepy place.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
it's just like a very weird energy to it. I've heard stories about people like getting pushed downstairs. Like I think that happened in the show, actually, in Grave Encounters.
It happened to one of the people.
And I think that was based on a real thing that happened there. And stories of like people looking up in a window and seeing a person that's not actually, well, it's not supposed to be there, and weird stuff. I don't know if I probably shouldn't swear on this show, right?
You can say
you can say whatever you want. Okay. So you had a real life ghost experience while you were there? Is that what you?
No, so I didn't. I wanted to. So I would do things like, because we were shooting. It was night shoots, so we were shooting from like whatever it was, 8 o'clock at night till like 5, 6, 7 in the morning, and I would sneak away during setups in between the shots, and I would go to like obscure places in the hospital, like walk up to the 3rd floor and just walk down a dark corridor by myself because and it was definitely like, it was scary, like I'm not gonna lie, and I would do things like that to sort of, but nothing. I can't say that anything actually like supernatural happened to me, but it was an eerie place.
So, hey Joe, the horror man. So yeah. Did anyone else have any stories? Anything happen while you were there that you didn't encounter but heard about on the same set?
Not on the same set. No, I'm trying to think if something actually happened to one of us. It was a long time ago too, but I don't remember. I don't specifically recall a story, but it was more just energetically the place. Like it sent a chill down your spine when you're in there, and yeah, and they shot that for nothing. Like it was like this shoestring little film that it was the idea, the concept, and just the instincts of the directors, the way that they shot it, I feel like really spoke to a lot of people. It was just a really interesting idea, and I think that's why it resonated in the horror community. And yeah, I always love hearing when people have seen Grave Encounters.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite found footage type movies.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But awesome. Yeah, for a little like low budget one, it does really good.
Yeah.
They definitely like all the jump scares, and when they finally encounter them, it's like, what the fuck is going on? And it's yeah. How was it like, being the normal assistant, on a so-called ghost show, because in the movie they really never encountered anything up into this point, from going to that and then your character like breaking down because of what the ghost did to him. How was that?
That was fun getting to really go through that arc as a character. And I disappear for a lot of it. I think a lot of the movie is them looking for me, but it was it was just fun to get to to sort of play all those different colors, like just like the tech guy and trying to like BS my way through all like the gadgets and the gear and all that stuff. And I'm just holding up these random things but no, and the directors, I think they let us. With found footage, you get the chance to ad lib a lot, because it's got to feel as organic as possible. So they encouraged us to do that, and obviously there was a script that we were following too. But and then that stuff where I went crazy, like that's always like really fun stuff to play as an actor, just to sort of like just lose your mind, which literally. So that was great.
Right. So go ahead, Boom.
Go to another kind of underrated, I would say, a horror film that not a lot of people have seen is Stains. Oh my gosh.
It stains the sands red.
Right.
I got tongue twisted.
And that's a great one to talk about next because it's the same director.
Oh, really? I did not realize that.
Yeah. So Colin Minahan, he kind of, because they were doing the first, they did Grave Encounters together with Stu Ortiz. Stu produced It Stains the Sands Red, but Colin it was like a solo effort on his part in terms of the directing. And again, it was a very immersive, and that's, for me, that's my favorite thing as an actor is immersive experiences. Like with Narcos, being there in Colombia, or with Grave Encounters, like being in that hospital, like for night shoots and feeling that fear with It Stains the Sands Red, like we were in the Vegas desert, and I was wearing that zombie makeup for days at a time. It was so brutal. Putting on the makeup was about 5 hours, and taking it off was about 2 to 3 hours. So the idea of doing that every day was just, it was too much. I didn't want to go through that. So I made a decision to actually wear that makeup as long as I could, because eventually it starts to kind of melt off your face and they have to like reapply it. But I think the most I did was 3 days. I wore the makeup, I slept in it, and in the morning I would go to the store, grab my coffee in the makeup. And I remember there was like a little kid, we were at Walmart picking up some food for the crew or something one day, and a little girl looked at me and she just started crying. I felt so bad, but it was very convincing makeup. It was amazing makeup. Megan and Ryan Nicholson, who did the makeup, did such a great job. And and we were there in the desert shooting for, I don't remember how many days it was. It was like 12 days or something. And Britt Allen, who plays Molly in the film, is Colin's partner in real life. And so they have a great chemistry, and we all got our asses kicked on that shoot. Like I was literally walking through cactuses as the zombie, like just like falling on the ground, and like it was a very intense shoot for me. But again, I love that stuff. I feel like nothing gets you more in character than doing things like that. So it was a fun one.
Right. And you weren't able to really play like just a standard zombie too, especially like towards like the end. You had to kind of have a little bit of emotion because you guys started getting like a connection between you two.
Wow, that was a nice, interesting
to
get to find, because you still have to, you're playing the undead, but at the same time, finding that life sort of behind the eyes. And so it was nice to get to play, to add a little extra sort of layer to the zombie. And the fact that he was a slow moving zombie was interesting too. It's just because it's part of the concept, right? And it had to be that way. But it was like, there were definitely scary moments in that film, but again, it had these moments of comedy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
especially how she gave you the nickname Smalls. Yeah.
Or there's the infamous tampon scene.
Yeah. So what they use for the tampon scene, like any flavor to it, or
what was that? I actually can't remember. I might have blocked it out.
It actually wasn't anything that tasted good. It wasn't like Hershey's strawberry syrup or anything.
No, I don't. Maybe it was. I actually don't remember. It was like, but Yeah, what a scene. That's one of those scenes that's just like I watch it back. I'm like, man, they went there. I can't
Yeah.
believe they went there, but they went there.
Yeah. She's like, fetch the stick.
Yeah.
Right. When I watch the credits, normally when the credits end, I'll shut it off. But this time I waited to the end just in case. And I seen him was shot in Nevada, and I was like, man, I really feel sorry for the Molly actress. I forgot what her real name. You just said it too, and I forgot it. But
Right now, yeah.
she had those big kind of boots with the heels, and she's having to walk through all the sand. It's like, oh my god, I feel so sorry for her having to trample through all that in those shoes.
God, that's what I'm saying. Like it was brutal, like physically, and I think it had to be because that shows up on screen, like you feel it. Yeah, she was a trooper, man, and you'd think that the problem would be the heat, but it was actually freezing, especially like those night shots that we did. Like we were freezing because the desert gets cold. So it was like that added to it as well. But then it also got hot in the daytime, so it was just like a combination of everything. And yeah, she did that. I'll have to say the scorpion was CGI. That was not a real scorpion.
Right.
But, that was, yeah, I think they did a really great job with the CGI on that. And but no, that's another one that I'm really, really proud of. And I wish more people had seen that one. I feel like Grave Encounters kind of became more familiar to people. It had got a bigger following. But I think It Stains the Sands Red, hopefully, yeah, I mean, hopefully more people get a chance to see it.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a under the radar movie that needs to be out there more. I came across randomly like a few years ago, and I was like, this is really interesting because I really like zombie movies. And I watched it. I was like, I like this. It's not the typical zombie movie. You still get like the zombie like effect to it, but it has different elements to it to make it just enough different that's not your typical run-of-the-mill zombie movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It is for people who are watching or listening later. It is on Tubi actually. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out there. So
thanks for the plug. Yeah,
yes.
I didn't know that. So
yes, Tubi has so much horror on it. It's crazy. I mean, so
okay.
And I believe Grave Encounters was on there too as well. So yeah,
I think Grave Encounters did a run on Netflix at some point. I don't know if it's still on there, but yeah.
It's also on Grave Encounters is also on AMC Plus. It may be on Tubi, but I only have AMC Plus wrote in my notes. I'm trying to find It Stains the Sands because I don't think I watched it on Tubi. If you have Peacock or AMC, It Stains the Sands Red is also on that.
Oh, no way.
It's right next to The Walking Dead. Oh, here we go. It's recommended. If you watch Walking Dead, it's
cool.
I don't know if it is. I'm just saying that.
Okay. I'm pretty sure. I think I watched it on Peacock, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. It's been a few days. I had to try to binge everything because we left Wednesday, so I had to try to binge everything before coming down here. So I'm gonna say I watched it on Peacock. So I'm putting my notes. I'll put like the place next to it where tell everybody that way I could go find it later. It's like I'll write everything down that's on streaming services that I could watch, and then I'll put where it is so I don't forget where's what.
Right. Well, thanks for watching all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Then you also got to do a TV show. I wasn't able to find it anywhere to rewatch it, but I did watch it when it was newer. Zoo.
Yeah.
I don't honestly remember your character, unfortunately, but I really liked the concept of that TV show. If you remember, I know that's probably a while ago.
Yeah, with all the animals evolving to like. Yeah.
Yeah, that was again shot in Vancouver, and that I played a Portuguese venom merchant. So my guy's deal was he would travel the world and sell animal venom to people. So that was a very kind of out there role to play also, and I had to learn a little bit of Portuguese. That's something. Even though Spanish and Portuguese are somewhat similar, they're very different.
Yeah.
And so that was. But again, they had a great vocal coach, and I was hitting up all my Portuguese-speaking friends for some pointers on that one. But yeah, it was just one episode that I did on there, but it was a fun one. Yeah, that show. I remember reading for the pilot for one of the lead roles, and when I read the script, I was like, man, this show, like, that's a great idea. But I feel like they only went one season. I could be wrong about that.
I think it went two. It went.
Is there 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Yeah. But the way they ended it, though, it could have been another season. I always hate that when they like leave it at cliffhanger.
Yeah, they did
like,
end it like that, and it just kind of left it. I know there's a book, which I have the book. I just never sat down and read it or read it. But yeah, they did kind of leave it hanging
open.
Yeah.
They probably didn't know if it was. They probably thought that it would come back, and then sometimes that happens, right? Where
Yeah.
They think it'll come back and it doesn't.
Yeah.
I hate when that happens. And I mean, there's like such good shows that get canceled and then something else comes on to replace it, which may not even have one season anyways. Like, okay, so you got rid of this channel, then
exactly. I don't know how those things work. Yeah. And that happens on Netflix too a lot. Where
Netflix is notorious.
They'll just cancel, and they'll cancel like successful shows sometimes, and it's like
what's like Santa Clara's Diet? They left that on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, Santa Clara Diet with Drew Barrymore, where she was a zombie on it.
Yeah, so who knows what goes into those decisions?
Right, and that was successful, and there was like, oh, you left it on a cliffhanger. It's successful. Tough luck. You're not getting any more.
I think it was the show at the point was even like in the top 10 of Netflix views and stuff. Like, why would you cancel a show that's in the top 10? Like, and I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm behind on Riverdale. I'm like at the trial, but I guess later on you come on. You were in Riverdale as Dodger, was it?
Yeah, Dodger was a fun role. I play an antagonist to Archie's character, so most of my scenes were with KJ Apa, who plays Archie, and I'm just like this kind of a thug who comes to town, and he's like recruiting kids to do his dirty work, and his name's Dodger, based on the Artful Dodger in Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist,
and because he has two brothers that come on later on, and I think it's later in the season. Oh shoot, what were their names? But I can't remember. But it was also like in reference to. I'm a little foggy on my Oliver Twist trivia, but anyways, and Darla, who plays my mother, so she, Azura Sky, she's a really great actress, but she's actually younger than me, and they cast her as my mother, which is weird, but that happens, I guess, in shows. But because she looks great. I think it was just like the suspension of disbelief on that one. But yeah, playing Dodger was a lot of fun because I think I did 5 or 6 episodes on there, and just getting to play the antagonist is that's my favorite. Getting to play the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, that answers that question. You either play a villain or the good guy. There you go. Just answer that question.
Yeah, I rarely play the good guy. Actually, it's usually the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of a villain, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But you play a really good villain. You know, it's one episode we watched Lethal Weapon, and you had like one of the epic scenes where you like blow up something and walk away from it. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That was amazing. Yeah, that's actually I have my demo reel as an actor. I that's the opening scene of my demo reel, and that was a really fun experience. So I think out of all the things we talked about, that's the first one that. Oh no, sorry. We talked about the one that shot in Vegas. So but this one shot in LA on the studio lot, which was, I think that was my first time shooting on the studio lot in LA. So that was a really cool experience for me. And just getting to play the badass biker dude was a lot of fun. That scene in particular that you mentioned was
right. Yeah, I thought that was so cool. It was like, because I've never seen the show before. A lot of stuff I get introduced to when we have a guest, I never get to watch it. I watched it for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." You blow up the semi, and just you're walking away, and it's just flaming.
Yeah, it was fun. I just, by the way, heard my kids walk through the door, so there might be. I'm sure they'll be fine, but
okay, it's all good. It's a family show, whatever.
Yeah.
We got pets, kids, anything.
Skeletons. Pets, kids, and skeletons. Oh, is that's just like a backdrop thing, right? That's not your actual living room. Okay, good.
No, it's because I could like disappear into it and stuff.
It's like a green screen, except he doesn't have a green screen on the back. That's why he disappears when he
Well,
back.
that's why I look like Lex Luthor with no hair.
Right.
Like,
I like it.
oh well, it's fun though. I like the skeletons. I think it's a cool.
Oh, they're
background,
great.
so, like whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just sink into them like Homer sinks into the hedge, but for the skeletons.
Amazing.
Is there anyone that you haven't worked with yet that you're hoping to?
Oh, tons of people. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the people that I look up to the most as an actor was Joaquin Phoenix. Like getting to work with him and seeing him as the Joker was pretty surreal. I've always been a fan of his. Or like Javier Bardem or Benicio del Toro, or like, I mean, there's so many people that I would love to work with, but I'll never get a chance. That's the thing, is like you, but you never know. You never know who you're going to.
Don't ever say never. You never know.
Yeah. One guy I had a lot of fun working with on Narcos was Luis Guzman, who
gosh,
he was a riot, and we would just like hang out in Colombia, go out for lunch or whatever, and he's just he could go on for days just like with all the stories he's got, and he just he's just one of those guys that's got such a great face. Like some people might not know him by name, but when you see his face, you're like, oh, that's the guy. Like he's been.
Yeah, I was like that until recently because he's going to be on that new Wednesday TV show. He's playing.
That's great. Yeah.
What was his name?
Mr. Adams. What do you call him?
Yeah, Mr. Adams. I don't know why I blanked on that.
But I binged on Wednesday when it came out. Ironically, it came out on Wednesday. I watched all of them Wednesday night.
I didn't realize it was out yet.
It came out Wednesday. Yeah.
Well, I've been here, so.
How many episodes is it?
Just 8, but I mean they were good though.
Like 1 hour episodes?
Yeah.
You binged 8 1-hour episodes in one night?
Yeah.
That's unreal. That's incredible, man.
We've done it. Like speaking of like Psych, I know you was on an episode of Psych.
Yeah,
we've binged like a whole season in a night.
Wow,
I'm a binge master.
Yeah, that's amazing. I haven't binged a lot of TV, but I think Breaking Bad was my kind of when I got introduced to that show. I was like, that was the one that I just could not stop watching.
Yeah. I don't think, Boom, you've watched that yet, have you?
No, I haven't. A lot of people talk about it, but I've never got around to watching it.
Yeah. So your thing is more the horror stuff, I guess.
For most part, yeah. I mean, I watch other stuff. Let's say my husband doesn't watch horror, so sometimes we'll find a show like Psych, like I mentioned. We both like that, so we'll binge and watch. That's something we watch together. But he's more of a sci-fi thing, so he likes Star Trek and Star Wars and stuff like that. But every once in a while, we will find a show or a movie that we can agree on.
Oh, okay, nice.
But for the most part, he'll watch his stuff. I watch mine.
For me, it's crime drama. I feel like that's kind of my world, especially as an actor. Like that's what I've mostly done and what I enjoy watching. But yeah, it's all fun. It's all
my husband jokes because I watch a lot of crime stuff, and he always jokes that I can murder him and make it look like I didn't do it.
Yeah, the true crime stuff I find actually really fascinating. Like those are just even more disturbing than truth is stranger than fiction. A lot of the time, and like these stories that you see on there, it's like it's really freaky what some people will do.
Right. Well, I get even worse because I'll end up watching like real life court cases that get aired on TV. And some of those are just extremely wild. A lot of them are the ones that get turned into shows later on. But yeah, I'll sit and I'll watch a court case, and I don't get bored. I can watch most of a court case, but I usually don't watch the ones that have some interesting aspect to it. But
the other one that I'll go down the rabbit hole on is interrogations. Like on YouTube, you can watch people being interrogated, and oh my gosh, I could watch that stuff for hours. Just like the psychological warfare that's happening in those interrogation rooms. Like I can't imagine being one of those And it's the criminals, like usually that they're showing the people that actually committed the crime, and just sort of seeing how the detectives just pick everything apart and just basically just deconstruct their entire psychology, and by the end there's a confession, and it's just wild seeing how that works.
Or the people doing the integrity will leave the room and they don't realize they're being filmed and like admit something while they're gone or do something stupid while they're gone. And,
yeah, exactly.
Take the evidence out of their shoe.
Right. Yeah, just recently, I don't think they were getting interrogated, but this wasn't like a nationalized case or anything. This actually came from the town I'm living in. The guy got put into a room to get questioned about something. I'm pretty sure this got put on the news everywhere, so you may have heard of it. But he escaped the the jailhouse. He like went in through the roof and like went out a window.
Wow.
It took off. But it happened in Wisconsin. He was going to get questioned and he escaped out of the room.
No way. And it's on camera.
Him. I don't remember what he did because the only thing that got really popular is that he escaped. Out of
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look that one up. Also, car chases. I love watching a good car chase on YouTube.
Yeah. Did you see the recent one where the guy, I think it was in Florida?
Oh, thanks.
It's
in Florida. What
No
about
offense.
Florida?
No offense, Stephen.
But I want to say it was Florida. I could be wrong. It might have been somewhere else, but I want to say it was Florida. But the guy switched out like 4 or 5 different cars, and then he finally got trapped at a gas station. No, it was California. It was California.
Okay. There you go.
And I just remembered that. I watch too much stuff. I get things confused. But yeah, he got trapped at a gas station. And finally, the police went and grabbed the wrong person and was arresting some just random person and went to the gas station at the same time. But
oh my goodness,
it's crazy. If you look up like GTA crash, because people are referring to it like a GTA thing because he kept switching cars.
That's brilliant.
But the helicopter was watching him the whole time. They didn't always have a police car near him, but they had a helicopter him on the whole time. But that was a crazy one.
I'm always my mind is blown when somebody actually escapes out of a car chase, because especially like I've heard of escapes when there's a helicopter following and somehow the car gets away. I'm like, how is that even possible? But
through the tunnels, and then they
the tunnel, right? So it's just like they find a way to do it, and it's pretty incredible. Yeah. That's tough. That's my jam right there. Like that's what I'll binge for sure. Those things.
Right. Did you hear that Criminal Minds is new again? They came out with new episodes after all these years. Did you watch the new one yet?
No, I haven't.
Like the new season, I guess there's supposed to be some killer that Ross is after, and it was really good. They got the second episode up now. I haven't watched that one, but I watched the first episode, and Rossi's become kind of an ass in it. I'm like, damn, like, yeah, he's changed. Like the cases have like really gotten to him, and I'll just leave it at that. But I was surprised to see his character change so much, the way he treats them in the BAU, and Prentice is promoted, and pretty much it's the original characters, but they don't have Spence or what's his name? He's on that SWAT now, so of course they're gone. But other than that, it's the original cast. So
okay,
but
I'll have to check that out. Yeah, all that stuff. Love it.
Nice. But since I brought out the alien shirt,
yes,
I'll bring up. You was on AVP 2. Rakeem, I know it's kind of a smaller part, but you get to get killed by a predator.
Yes, got my head blown off, which is that's one of those bucket list things.
Killed by a predator, check.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we shot that. That was pretty early on in my career too, and I remember when I was doing that. So I was actually, I haven't done a lot of theater in my career, but partly for this reason, I was cast in a play, and we've been rehearsing for weeks, and then all of a sudden we find out, okay, it's opening night is happening on this date, and then all of a sudden, soon before we're going, opening night happens, I get that part on AVP too, and I was like, oh, could be a problem. And because I think I had 5 days of work on that show, even though my part was small, somehow it was 5 days of work. And then sure enough, one of those dates landed on opening night of the play that I was supposed to do. So I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't know. I was torn because it was still early in my acting career, and it was like a kind of a big deal to be a part of that film. And I was like, but at the same time, I don't want to let these people. Eventually the play, they were able to shift things, I think, by one night for me because I didn't have an understudy or anything, and somehow they made it work with the dates. But then all of a sudden, one of the days on AVP2 switched, and it fell on another day where we had a performance, and because this was like a 2-week run, I think, on this play that I was doing. And then again, it's like my heart's in my throat, like, how am I going to do this? But then it turned out that one day that switched was actually the day that they were doing Predator Vision on AVP2, where it's all just like the infrared outline of my body, but you can't actually tell that it's me. And so we were able to, they were able to use somebody else for AVP2 for the infrared, the Predator Vision. And I was able to fulfill my obligations for the play. And yeah, I haven't done theater since, just for that reason. Like, it's just so stressful because once you get those theater dates, it's like nothing else you're just locked in, and it's really hard to manage that.
Right, yeah, because like you said, if you don't have an understudy, they'd have to basically cancel the whole play, kind of.
Yeah, I guess if you have an understudy, then that's a workaround. But this was just like a smaller production. Like, it was just not feasible for them to do that. And so, yeah, but it somehow made it work. Yeah, but it was a fun show. Shot in Vancouver and with my buddy Rainbow Sun Franks, who he was on Stargate, actually. He had a pretty good role on Stargate, and we worked together as the two stoners in that gun shop. And that was, it was really great, good times.
Now, I didn't realize the other guy was on Stargate. My husband watched that part with me, and he loves Stargate. He normally picks him out, and so I'm shocked he didn't notice it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I have to tell him.
I think his character is quite different on AVP too. But yeah, again, it's just like that thing where, well, he lives in Toronto now, but it's like so many of these. I guarantee you, like, as horror fans, so many of the shows that you guys have watched were just chock full of Vancouver actors, because anytime I watch one of these shows, I recognize so many people just because that's where a lot of these things shoot, and they have to cast locally for a lot of those roles, especially the smaller parts.
Mm-hmm. It's like, man, I should just move to Vancouver. It seems like everything's
I mean, the big one is X-Files.
Yep.
And I was not a part of X-Files because that was a little before my time, but it's just so many Vancouver actors in that show, and it brought so much work to the city. I think in some ways that's why so many of those kinds of shows shoot there, is because X-Files kind of set the bar for like what that city has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of great horror movies that come through Canada. I don't know if it's like Vancouver specifically, but I know there's a lot of them that come through Canada.
Mm-hmm. Mostly Vancouver, I would say, for horror and sci-fi. That's kind of the hub. I think you get more like the cop shows and those kinds of things out of Toronto, but Vancouver seems to be the place for that. It's just a moodier atmosphere. Like, we get rain most of the year there, I'd have to say, but it can double as a lot of different cities, and and I think the crews are really fantastic there. So a lot of people. And then obviously the tax break, the dollar, you get a lot more bang for your buck for the American productions to shoot in Vancouver. So, yeah.
And I forgot, I was going to mention also Smallville was another show that I used to watch all the time. How was that? You were in 2 different episodes. I think, was it the same character or 2 different characters? It says AJ and then it says Lo Wilson. I guess it was 2 different episodes you were in.
Yeah. That one, again, was one of those long-running shows that brought so much work to Vancouver. And I think you just had to wait a couple of seasons and then you could re-audition for the show. So I was lucky enough to get 2 different parts on there. And that was early on in my career. And then there's a show that was it 2 or 3? I think it was maybe 2. But have you heard of The Haunting Hour?
Yes, R.L. Stein's The Haunting Hour. I saw
Oh,
that. Yeah, you were in 3 episodes of, like it said, Stranger, and I forget what the other 2 were, but
Oh yeah, it was 3. I played
Yeah,
the
Ranger
Cowboy.
Jackson, John, Mad Dog McCoy, and Stranger.
Yes. So that was I guess the only time I've ever played 3 different roles in a show. But some of those roles, even though it's a kid show, like I had so much fun with those roles.
yeah. The R.L. Stein shows are great. Even I mean,
Mhm.
even they still hold up, even in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. They just really, I felt like so much freedom to just really go big. And especially because it being a kids show, like you can be larger than life, and um, I had a lot of fun on those shows.
So, Mad Dog, I'm gonna have to see what episodes there were and see if I can track those down again.
Yeah, track those down if you can. I recommend those highly. The one where I played the stranger, that was my first time working on it, and that is a dark episode. My buddy Ken Frisk directed that, and I worked with Richard Harmon, who he's just killing it. He's on a lot of. He was actually the lead in Grave Encounters too,
Oh, okay.
and so um, that was it was a really dark episode, and even though it's a kid show, it's almost like too scary for kids. I find the way they had to re-edit it in a way that was more child friendly, because I remember Ken Frisk, the director, he had his own cut that was just a little too disturbing. It might be available out there, his cut, but even the one that was not released for kids, it's spooky. It's a good episode, and my character's a lot of fun in that. And then the other one that I really had fun with was John Mad Dog McCoy. I got to play a really larger than life cowboy character he's like a ghost of a cowboy who comes back to haunt this kid.
I was gonna say, was that the Ghost Town one or something? I vaguely, I mean, that name sounds so familiar to me. I remember hearing that name.
Yeah,
the episode.
Yeah, it's basically like this kid who lives, I think, on a ranch or farm or something, and then this cowboy. So I can't remember what he does to sort of summon the spirit of this old cowboy who got hanged back in the day, and now he's coming back to haunt this kid. And the kid is actually, they call him the bonus Jonas because he's the youngest. He's the Jonas brothers' youngest brother, so he's not actually a part of the Jonas brothers, but he's the younger. His name's Frankie Jonas. Random facts. So it was fun. Wow, it's getting dark here. This is gonna be. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 5 o'clock. I might have to roll in a few minutes here. Anyway.
Yeah, we're almost coming up to an hour anyway, so we're good. I mean,
cool. Yeah, just because we're doing this Thanksgiving thing.
No problem.
So,
yeah.
We appreciate what time you can give us, so we're good with anything.
Yeah, I'll just let it get dark. I know it's getting I was using the daylight on my window, but it's fading quickly here.
It's all right. Well, it's almost the curtains closing, fading.
Yeah, exactly.
that's your
fade up about the whole thing.
Besides crime shows, any interesting facts or hobbies or talents or anything we may not know about?
So a big passion of mine is the game of poker. And have either of you played poker? Yeah.
No. It's been a while. But I've played poker though. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of got into poker through the years, and I feel like as an actor, they kind of lend themselves to each other. Like you can use a lot of skills from one in the other. And I've become pretty serious about, especially tournament poker. So I play in a lot of poker tournaments, and I've had some decent results. Actually, this year I had a really great result. I came in second place out of about 5,000 people in a tournament. I was like, there's supposed to be a live stream about it, which hasn't come out yet, but they were like, they had the cameras where you could see like our cards, and it felt that's been like a bucket list thing for me to get to do something like that. And then it was a dream just to do. I'm very passionate about the game of poker. I love it. So that's, I guess, a fun fact about me. And then the fact, I guess, I'm a father of twin boys. They're 6 years old, and that's a big part of my life too, fatherhood, and I love that, and just seeing my boys sort of just getting to rediscover the world through their eyes, and they're just wonderful kids, and so yeah. And I direct as well, as I mentioned, and edit, and I'm trying to get my first feature film off the ground. It's going to be a crime drama called With the Wolves, and so we're just trying to find some funding for that. That's the biggest hurdle at this time. But once that happens, and it's like we're good to go. So we're going to probably shoot that up in Vancouver, and
I
yeah,
was
that's
gonna say Vancouver. Yeah.
yes, definitely. It's actually a story that's set in BC, in Vancouver area. So it just makes sense that we're going to shoot it there. And I know so many people. I just have a really good network up there to get to make the thing. I just need the money now, and then we're going to make it happen.
Nice. Do you have anything else that's upcoming that you are able to talk about? Probably not, but it's always good to ask.
No, I did a lot of feature films in the last year or two that have not come out yet. One of them is called Heartworm, which is still being edited, I believe, and the other one's called Crawdaddy. I had a little short film that premiered last night up in Vancouver. It's called Tiger by the Tail, which I don't know where you can watch that. So just a lot of independent stuff that you keep an eye. I mean, it'll come out eventually. It always takes a little longer with those kinds of things, but other than that, it's just the reruns right now of the stuff that I've done. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and enjoy your dinner or late Thanksgiving. And so.
Yes, thank you, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun, and I'm gonna slip back into the darkness here and
fade out. Flick into the darkness.
Yeah.
Instead of into the woods, into the darkness, into the darkness.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed myself.
All right. Thanks for joining us. You're welcome.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care.
Fade out. It's like I almost want to watch this. It Saints the Sands Reagan talking about. That's such a great movie.
Yes.
Go see it, people. It's on Tubi, so check it out. If you like zombie movies
or Peacock, because I'm pretty sure I saw it on Peacock. Because that's where I put in my notes. Peacock and AMC Plus. I think I said.
Yeah, you said AMC Plus. Yeah, I didn't know it was on those. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got multiple platforms there.
Yeah, because I didn't put Tubi on there because I didn't want commercials.
Right.
And I pay for the Peacock that doesn't have commercials.
Then you might as well get it commercial free.
Right. Plus I have AMC Plus because I have to have my Walking Dead. So.
Indeed. Yeah.
All right. On my finger. Yeah, I'll have to remember to message you when I get off here because I got a new phone. My other phone was a piece of crap. So while I was down here, because I'm on my mom's plan, so she can get a deal with it. So when I was down here, we upgraded my phone and I got a new number.
Alrighty then.
So I'll have to let you know my new phone number. Oh, also, my brother, they're gonna change their wedding date, so don't worry about the 18th as of right now.
Okay, good, because I got Joe Bob to come. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know what the new wedding day is, but it's no longer going to be that. Because with him being in the motorcycle accident, they don't think he's going to be fully healed, so they're going to postpone it. Because he's still having a lot of issues with his shoulder.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully, I was talking to someone, and we'll get a date on that. Someone who was in Sleigh Bells, so hopefully that'll work out. The one with Barry Bostwick. I don't know if you saw that one or not.
It sounds familiar. I think
where's Barry Bostwick
that was in that already?
Not yet. No, I don't think so.
Okay, maybe I watched it just for Christmas last year. I don't know. It sounds familiar. I think I watched it.
We might. Oh, I think we probably brought it up for our Christmas show before and talked about different Christmas movies. I think I brought it up. Well, it was with Barry Bostwick, where he was Santa, and he fights Krampus, and yeah. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that works out. That'd be a good December date. So, and a couple other people trying to get in touch with. So, I want
to see the new Christmas movie, that Violent Santa or Violent Night or whatever it's called.
Yes, and then the Mean one is actually going to get a theatrical release too, with David Howard Thornton as the Grinch. Is going to be in theaters, so that'll be fun to see.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I want to see his portrayal as the Grinch.
I think he'll make an amazing Grinch.
Yeah.
He's going to be like Jim Carrey level but
But
psychotic.
evil. Well, remember he did on YouTube the Batman show. Remember he played the Joker, and I mean
Exactly.
his
That's
Joker.
what I'm saying. He's going to be amazing.
Yeah, his Joker was great for it.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, DC, cast him as a Joker in something, whether a game voice or something or whatever. Who cares? Just put him in that world. So, yeah. So I can't wait till next month. Spookella. It's gonna be fun. So David's gonna be there. Damien, Lauren, the woman who sang Clown Cafe. So it's getting close. Getting close. Actually, let's see. So actually, a few weeks, 17th and 18th. So a few weeks. I don't know. Whatever. But it's getting close. So. And yeah, I gotta get up early for work again. So I guess anything else going on before we head on out for the night?
I can't think so. You're up to 505 subscribers. That's awesome.
Yes.
You were at 502 last time I looked.
So
Oh,
yep. A few people at Walmart I ran into, they added me. So yeah. And then
there's a late response. I typed hello in the chat to somebody. I don't remember who it was, but I never hit send. So there's a delayed hello to whoever you were.
Hello to all. It's everyone.
Right.
We're not excluding anyone. It's a big hello to everyone. So, alrighty then. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week. And we'll figure out what's going on. Of course, keep the announcements will be on the Facebook group of what we got going on. All right. Have a good night, and see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.